light rail issue. Is there any vehicle you see in the next several days that is going to get the money to that project that will allow federal matching funds?
Obviously, the Southwest Light Rail is the controversial project, and it does not have a single vote in my caucus. So that's been what kind of holds up the transit side of this. My members support our buses, and particularly in rural Minnesota, the buses that seniors use to get to the doctor and to the shopping mall and to the grocery store. We know how needed those modes of transportation are, so we don't want to lump all transit together. But the controversial part of that, obviously, are the trains. We are not supportive of that. We don't think it's a good idea. In fact, most of the emails that I get in opposition to Southwest Light Rail, and I get about 10-1 in opposition as opposed to support, and most of the emails I get in opposition come from the area where the train would actually provide service. So we think that those dollars are much better spent to upgrade our road and bridge infrastructure. And remember, that's a mode that far less than 2% of the population uses our trains, where 98+% of our population uses our road and bridge infrastructure every day as their primary mode of transportation. So I think what we want to do is focus the dollars that we have on the resource that most Minnesotans use and where it can have the biggest impact.
So would you like to kill that project despite the millions that have already been spent on it?
Yes, I would.
What about letting the local people decide, putting it on the ballot?
As far as that train, my guess is that
What kind of train? So the half-cent sales tax for transit.
you know, our caucus is not in favor of that right now, but as I've said, we're willing to have a conversation with the Democrats. But what we want to do, and part of my proposal today, is let's separate transit from roads and bridges. Let's get to agreement on this first. I feel like we need to break the ice and get to agreement on something. We think we're the closest on the road and bridge infrastructure, so let's focus on that first, and then we can talk about the transit piece, which is a little more complicated. But we're certainly willing to talk with them about what we know is their priority.